Live from the Export Beer Garden studios and brought to you, as always, by Export Ultra, the beer for here. This is the Agenda Podcast for the 21st of Jan.
The Agenda Podcast, the home of sporting nonsense and claptrap. Brought to you by Export Ultra.
Just a first up bit of technical admin for you, Matt Heath.
Who is Jason Hoyt been using these? The volume is like I just got noise sickness for how loud these headphones are.
Jeez,
Can we bring them down,
there needs to be.
It's
You know what?
So loud.
He needs some sort of, like Home D bracelet that doesn't allow him into certain places because he is just basically barging into the ACC office and stealing all our Snackachangy chips.
Right, yeah.
And those Snackachangy chips are for events and for other people more important than him. The Golf Open, for example, in Auckland next Friday, that's for chips for the people there.
Yeah.
The Snackachangy Sports Scholarship, it's for those people. But he takes it upon himself, and there's video evidence of him, goes out and he slices it open with a box, and he reaches his hand and slizzes it out and then puts it back down again.
Yeah, the word entitlement is bandied about a lot these days, but he definitely feels entitled to anything in this wider area.
Yeah.
But also, how deaf is the man? Because if he has his headphones on a volume that I actually got noise sickness, I actually nearly throw up how loud he listens to headphones. Used to happen to me when I was doing, back in the day when I did the Hauraki breakfast, because I shared the same seat as him. And so every morning I'd come in, put my headphones on, and just get blown out the back of my chair by how loud he has this.
Maybe that's the issue, because I've told him so many times, stop stealing those fucking chips. Maybe he can't hear me. Because I remember my granddad, when he was in his 90s, his hearing had gone altogether. I knew he didn't hear me when I'd go, hey, granddad, you're good? And he'd go, oh, yep. He'd just say that. So he'd go, oh, yep. That's pretty much what Jay says. So
for about 10 years or 5 years, my dad just went, every time you said anything to him, and couldn't hear. So I, out of my own money, ponied up and bought him like top-end hearing aids just because it was so much less annoying. I did it for myself, and my sister was like, that was such a beautiful thing you did for your father. It wasn't for him. It was because I couldn't stand the anymore. And so I bought him ones. But he just got new ones, my dad, and the new AI augmented. It's like being bionic. Like old people, boomers can now hear better than we can.
So does that mean, can they change the voice? So like, can you say everyone who talks to you sounds like Scarlett Johansson? That would be fucking
that's
awesome.
got to be the next level of it.
Yeah, because you talk to me
good.
and I'll be like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Say it again, Matt.
Well, it's interesting because, for the longest time, no one wanted to be seen with hearing aids. But now because everyone walks around with their earbuds sticking out.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. You can have,
and they're so tiny anyway.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be an issue for me. And this is, again, why boomers are going to take over, because they're doing all these things they shouldn't be doing. Yeah. Like having sex with Viagra. They shouldn't be banging.
They shouldn't be able to hear you. They shouldn't be able to have sex with you.
Yeah, and they shouldn't be. And they're costing us a lot of money in mountain bike parks because now they've got e-bikes. Yeah. They're fucking way up in the mountains.
That's a really good point. They're going faster than they should. They should have given up cycling.
Yes.
They shouldn't be able to hear. They shouldn't be having sex.
Yeah, I know. And now they're enabled and they're just going to carry on punching us. It's like,
So we're Gen X. You're Gen X?
I don't even know.
So
we're
going to get punished by the generation above us for longer than any other generation has ever been punished from the generation directly above them.
Totally. We are doing the hard yards here because we're going to die very early.
Oh, God, because... We were full sugar, full cigs.
Yeah, full cigs, vaping, and then got told vaping was awesome.
Yeah. Our generation has behaved terribly, to be honest.
Speaking of behaving terribly, Black Clash in the weekend. Yeah. We didn't have an agenda podcast yesterday because we just needed a day to recoup after another massive weekend in Christchurch for the Black Clash. Those listeners of the podcast on Friday, I talked about how I needed some redemption with Chris Gayle after the last time I met him. I had my arm around him, embarrassed myself horrifically.
Well, you did not get that redemption.
Nah.
I seem to have messed that up. You put another layer of shame on top of the shame.
I did. He was at the launch event on the Friday night. I'm just going to have to put this in perspective. I have been on a family holiday for 3 weeks. Yeah. And when I say family holiday, just our family overseas in another country where you sleep in one room. So basically everyone goes to bed at 8:30 every night. for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I found myself in a situation where drinks were flowing at this event, this launch event. Chris Gayle got on the microphone, and I thought he was just going to do a speech. He stayed on stage and didn't so much DJ, just talked over songs for about 2 hours.
Yeah, who was playing the songs? Was he playing the songs?
Nah, it was another DJ.
Yeah, so he
was emceeing.
Yeah, he was emceeing. So he would just sort of yell things out over,
like who you gonna call?
Yeah,
Chris Gayle. and shake that ass, daga daga daga. He was doing a lot of that.
Yeah,
and then when he said, "Get your titties out, get your titties out," I did get my titties out.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
and then he went, "Not those titties."
wrong titties.
Wrong titties.
Yeah.
And then, so obviously I was dancing on the tables. I got up on Pants Man Joel Harrison's shoulders, and that's when I got my top off.
Yep.
And was swinging it around to Sandstorm.
Yeah. I saw that.
Which I thought was appropriate. And then I put my shirt back on. It was inside out.
I mean, it wouldn't be appropriate in some places. Like, you know, it wouldn't be appropriate at a presidential inauguration or...
No.
But it was appropriate at that point.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be appropriate in a library.
No, certainly not.
But you know, it's you behave as, you know, the environment sort of pushes you to behave.
Yeah.
And with that much booze and that much Chris Gayle on stage telling you to get your titties out, it was the right thing to do.
When he looked at me and went, not those titties.
Yeah. Well, you didn't know that when he said get your titties out.
I was just following instructions.
He didn't say get your titties out, not you. Until after you'd done it.
He did it until after I'd done it. Anyway, the next day, obviously, you know, there's certain demons and regrets that start flowing. And I had a few. I didn't really care. But then the one that hit me was when Joe Jury at breakfast goes, fucking, you put that girl in hospital. And I went, what? I didn't put a girl in hospital. He goes,
that's a big bombshell to drop over breakfast.
Yeah, you did. And I went, no, I didn't. He goes, yeah, when you were dancing on the table, you jumped off, the table fell over, all the glasses came off, and one exploded, and a shard of glass went into a girl's shin, and she went to hospital. And I was like, look, I don't get out of control, but I know like where the line is, and I would have had demons about that, and I would have remembered that. That did not happen.
That's the kind of thing that would cut through the drunken haze, and create a memory.
And then Joe Jury, obviously we're looking to double down on my stake. Goes no, and I was like, fuck, I don't know that that's true.
And the thing is, Joe Jury normally knows what's up.
Yeah, and then so obviously, and then I was racked with guilt because I've obviously ruined someone's night and probably weekend. And then so I was racked with that, and I was like, all through the afternoon. And then I met up with some other people, and they were like, "Are you all right?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I feel terrible that I potentially may have hurt someone." And they're like, "When?" And I was like, "When I was dancing on the table." And they go, "No, I got a video of you dancing on the table." And I did, and it's like, "Well, there's no glasses on that table." So I said, "That's bullshit. I didn't knock that table over. There's no even glasses on it." And then I started to feel better. And then I explained it, said, "No, that wasn't you. That was someone else." And I was like, "Oh fuck, thank God." And then I bumped into Hamish Marshall. And he goes, fuck, things got wild last night. Fuck, did you see what such and such got up to when he flipped that table and shattered that glass into that girl's leg? And I was like, yeah, beauty. It wasn't me. And he showed me the video. And Jason Eaton, former All Black, he was going wild on the dance floor when Chris Gayle was going, let's get freaky, let's get freaky. And he knocked a table and it toppled over and smashed. And I wasn't even in the vicinity of the incident. So from then on, I felt great, and I hit the beers, and then I hit the party zone, and I was great. Yeah. But I had a 6-hour period there, which wasn't good.
Jason Eaton had an interesting time at the Black Clash, didn't he? Great man. Lovely man. Very
big.
Good chat. Good bowler.
Yeah.
Good bowler.
Inductors.
Yep. I talked to him about those at the net session. He said he didn't really know why they induct, but they do.
It's probably his open stance, I think.
Yeah.
His open.
Yeah, he just said they just do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Kieran Reid was asking if you've got any other deliveries you could do. Could you move it away? And he goes, I don't know how I'm moving it in. But anyway.
I love it. Kieran Reid, give me away. I don't know what you're talking about, mate.
But anyway, because he bowled well, but in the field he's so big. You know, you don't normally have fielders that big. I mean, I guess Chris Gayle's getting up there. But so he had a couple of meres in the field out. And then in the charity over with the, KFC life-saving, $1,000 a run thing, he was out on the boundary and caught a blinder to stop a 6. And then everyone was looking at him going, what? You couldn't field it all during the game and now to rob some lifesavers of some money. But it was one of those catches where he was just, I don't think anyone really told him what was going on because there's not a lot of communication. And he was just out on the boundary. And it was
he sculled a bear in front of us.
Yeah, it was just a reflex catch. And then he was looking around going, oh, shit. I should have let that go for 6.
Someone from the crowd did yell, let the fuckers drown anyway.
I felt sorry for him because he's taking quite a good catch, and normally, it was going at a decent pace, and he caught it above his head. Normally that's a moment for celebration. I mean, how many people have
taken a catch
on the boundary and got booed? It's like, and then he was like, oh shit, and then he was called in to, inside the ring after that. Which I thought, putting such a defensive field I blame the captain for that. Why put out a defensive field for a charity over?
Well, that's classic Kieran Reid. He doesn't want to show any sign of weakness. No sign of weakness from Kieran Reid. But yeah, it was a great occasion. The party zone was out of control.
Yeah, because I was up in the box commentating with Hoodie J and Manai Stewart, and from up here I felt concerned about the party zone from up there. I asked for extra security on the door, just in case the party zone got into where we were.
No streakers, no pitch invasions came from our area.
Well, it was mainly you actually that I was concerned about because at one point you were riding a gentleman and then you were riding another gentleman.
Yes. Got a bit wild there. It got a bit freaky. It got a bit freaky for a bit there. It did, admittedly. But I had a good catch up with Chris Martin, the great Chris Martin, former fast bowler for New Zealand. Not the same.
Now full square owner,
maybe a New World owner.
I think he might have upgraded to New World.
Anyway, I had a strange interaction with him because we've got a bit of history, Chris Martin and I, because we banged on about a lot of time when I caught a 6 at a test match at the Basin Reserve.
I've seen the footage.
Yeah, and I won $1,000. Chris Martin was playing that game, and he said to me, he goes, we've hung out before. He goes, because you took that catch at the Basin, and the next day I dropped a absolute goober at mid-on, and they did a split screen. Sky did a split screen and of you and me, and they said that's a club player on the left with a textbook reverse cup, and on the right, an international cricketer. And he said that was so humiliating. It took him so long to get over that, and he thought it was a bit mean. And I was like, do you know what's going to make you feel worse? And he goes, what? And he goes, can you remember who the bowler was that bowled that ball that you dropped? And he goes, no. He goes, it was Brooke Walker in his only test match, and he didn't get a test wicket. And that was his only chance at a test wicket, and you dropped it at mid-on. And he goes, I didn't know that, and now I feel even worse. He goes, how could you say that to me? I was like, I thought you knew. And this was before the game started. Chris Martin's like, oh, I feel fucking terrible.
He still can bowl though, eh?
Yeah, he's in good nick. He's
looking good.
He looks the same.
I wish he'd worn a headband.
Yes, he said that to me. He goes, have you got a headband? Because it's a crowd favourite. I said, I can tear up a Export Ultra party shirt and you can. And he goes, I'm not doing a Stuart Broad. You can get fucked on the Stuart Broad. I need a sweatband. I was like,
I was so disappointed when he came out without the sweatband.
He knew that as well. He knew it was a crowd favourite.
It actually broke my heart.
We probably should have sent someone off to grab one. Probably put him quite easy. But anyway,
a big white headband around him would have been everything.
Yeah, it was.
Is that the bald head situation? If you're running a bald head, although Beefy Botham used to run one, didn't he?
Did he?
I think he maybe once.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to think. I've got one picture of him like that, but because the hair's got to stop the sweat getting in your eyes.
Yeah, because it just flows straight into the eyebrows, and the only line of hair defense is your eyebrows.
Yeah, that's a missed opportunity. But old Lou Vincent back and celebrated by the crowd, and at one point he was just being absolutely swamped by children looking for signatures, and he batted really well, and he brought the mongoose out.
He did. It meant a lot to him, that game. I know that the game's a bit of.
I think it meant a lot to a lot of people to see him as well. It's kind of like a cathartic experience.
Yeah, and mate, he's been through quite a lot. Yeah. Remember, he is the only person out of that whole kerfuffle that put his hand up and said, "Yeah, I did it."
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And knowing Lou, he's not the mastermind of all that.
No,
he is not by any stretch of the imagination. No. The mastermind of it. He was a victim of it. And to see him out there, he was stoked to be out there. He scored a few runs. Like you're saying, got the mongoose out. The famous mongoose, which was a 30-centimetre chunk at the bottom of a bat and a handle that's about a metre long.
Kind of like an oar.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
You could use it in a waka.
he scored a few runs with the
I
mongoose.
was so glad when the mongoose came out. So there's some big claims about the mongoose. There's claims it's got 20% more power.
Yeah,
All sweet
yeah,
spot.
but it's like 20% more power. Who's doing the research on that?
Yeah. How do you do
Bullshit.
that? It's such bullshit. But yeah, it's a paddle. But you could play paddle tennis with it.
Yeah.
French cricket would be good. But when it came out, I was like, don't go out. Don't get the novelty bat and immediately go out. And that's always a risk when you do something like that. So he actually managed to get a few more runs with the mongoose.
Yeah, I was a bit like that as well when he told me he was going to get the mongoose. I was like, oh, I don't know if you need to put a hat on a hat. It's great that you're out there. Great to see you out there. Hamish Marshall scored a lot of runs. Scored 70 odd.
Yep.
And obviously the cricketers piled on.
I mean, Minai Stewart called him James Marshall throughout the whole commentary, which I thought was I didn't.
It's disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He scored like it is hard to tell the difference between James and Hamish Marshall, but when the scoreboard and the graphics
said James.
Said Hamish.
Oh, okay.
That's a good clue. That means someone else has done the research for you.
You wouldn't have confused him with Willie Marshall, the oldest brother, because he doesn't look anything like Hamish or James. So maybe you didn't call him Willie Marshall.
No, but Hamish Marshall was in such good nick, and cricket wise, he can hit the ball.
He's still playing. He's still playing club cricket, and I mean he's not. He's a bit like LeBron James. He wants to play club cricket with his son. Right. So that's why until that moment, and then he's going to hang up the boots.
Wow.
So he's still
a great fielder.
Yep. Great arm.
Great arm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's just. Maybe they need to put him on the other team next year.
Well, you know what? He was a good rugby player. Both him and James played for New Zealand secondary school rugby team. So they could
because they need. I think team rugby needs more cricket players in it, which sounds like you're kind of. I mean, they did have Chris Gayle, which is definitely a great cricket player, but they need more cricket players.
That's not a bad idea actually, because if both Hamish and James. Because I don't know why James gets snubbed for this game, but both Hamish and James should go and play for rugby, given their rugby background. Yeah. One was a halfback and one was a fullback.
That one changed here in having the twins playing in that team, because then you can get one wild card.
Yeah.
So two for one wild card.
Yeah.
Because you could just... And
they can both bowl as well.
Yeah. So that would be great, because I think they need that. They need Hamish Marshall. They need someone that's just an all-round good player that can...
Yeah.
They can do a lot. I mean, the disaster for team rugby was Kieran Reid going out, so
and
cheaply.
Will Jordan getting run out.
Yeah. Will Jordan getting run out by Chris Gayle. And that was hard for Will Jordan, because you can't give Chris Gayle the stink eye. But Chris Gayle ran that first run so slowly, it was hard to know.
He was never going to...
It was hard to know what was going on. Like, why is Chris Gayle moving so slowly?
Because everything about Chris Gayle...
It confused everyone.
Everything about Chris Gayle is relatively... it's hard to describe it as slow, because it's cool as fuck. Like, everything is kind of like,
But even if you know what I mean? Even when he hits a six, it's not with rapid bat speed.
And when he's bowling, and when he's on the dance floor, he's just moving like this. Like, you know what? Everything's...
Yeah.
So that's kind of but deceptive when you've got a professional athlete and Will Jordan at the other end, who arguably one of the quickest All Blacks out there.
And so he sees, like, Chris Gayle set the mood, which is just to lope through when Will Jordan needed to be hoofing it. Yeah. Not even hoofing it, going at half speed, he would have got there.
Yeah. A lot of the cricket players as well, a bit of stick going around. Obviously, Kyle Mills took the catch to dismiss Chris Gayle, and he had to take it. You can't be dropping catches on purpose.
No.
In a game like this. And the run out.
Actually, that was another time when you take a catch. There was two times people in that when you take a catch and everyone hates you for it.
You can't. It's very hard. Neil Broom did it. Very hard to drop a catch on purpose, like, you know what I mean, without hurting yourself. But Neil Broom nailed it. Brown Eye Broom. Did you have any issues with Brown Eye Broom in his runs?
Well, it was interesting because Minai Stewart kept on bringing that up with me and asking me directly on air what his nickname was, and trying to push the Brown Eye Broom thing, and asking and showing me things coming through in the text machine and saying, why are we getting this? And I'm not that stupid. I'm not going to just say, well, we're asking for rusty sheriff's badges, send them through the BSA right now or whatever, you know what I mean?
But you did.
But I did. Well, I am that stupid is what I should say.
Because, the Brown Eye Broom, he was in good nick, actually. He's only recently retired, Brown Eye Broom.
I know, it's an interesting world commentating. I really enjoy it and love going down the Black Clash. Thanks for putting me on the team again. Had a fucking great weekend. It was awesome. Fun. And now I'm a ZB wounder, it's good to sort of have these
outlets.
Well, yeah, I mean, like example, like I got a lot of heat because me and Mania were doing prep for from about midday.
Yeah.
And so a shot went up of me with a pack of cigs and a beer.
Yeah.
And
this was were you at the Richmond? Is this at the Richmond? Yeah.
And there was just a lot of social media kickback saying you're lowering the standards of ZB with a pack of cigs and a beer. And I was thinking,
I don't know about
really?
that.
Paul Holmes?
About to say, it was
Paul Holmes?
ZB was built on a pile of ciggies
yeah.
and a bottle of wine.
Yeah. But anyway, it's great to be back and it was really fun to be down there and down and dirty down there at the thing. But there is a sort of a weird situation when you're commentating cricket. I was talking to Jason Hoyt about it because it's, how do you put this? If a catch goes down, do you rip into the person?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, because if it's hard to rip into Shawnee J when he's bowling pies, even though he bowled quite, because he's never bowled before, because he's not a cricket. You're in a weird sort of twilight zone of cricket commentary
where you can't. I know what you mean, and it's a festival match.
Yeah,
it's a bit of fun.
Yeah,
Joey Wheeler, getting poor Chris Martin out for a golden duck, like a schoolyard bully.
Yeah,
and celebrating too.
Yeah, that was great for me because I said he isn't even as good a batsman as Chris Martin from Coldplay, and then he immediately got clean bowled. It was good. It was a good time. So what am I talking about? We did rip into all of them.
Yeah.
Well, I was saying we ripped into everyone, but I didn't feel good about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean because usually ACC commentary, we don't really, even on proper cricket.
Yeah.
We never really rip into anyone.
No, we don't.
Because we just
what I'm saying makes no sense. We never rip into anyone. I feel bad how much we rip into everyone. That's what I should have said. Because there's not much else to do.
Mike Minogue, he was on commentary about 3 or 4 years ago, hasn't been on since, on the Black Clash. And I think he kind of explained...
Jeez, how good is his bod?
Oh, he rocking bod.
He has got a six-pack now.
Yeah, it's rocking bod.
He was nude in the...
in the spa.
Yeah.
With the Keezy, with those disgusting nipples. Probably the biggest amount of feedback.
Actually, that was most of... That was most of the text machine was just on Keezy's...
The meat patties.
Yeah. We actually got a lot of feedback saying you can't say that about people. You can't, because we were ripping into Keezy's meat patty nipples.
Yes, you can.
And ripping into some guy for having a hairy back in the spa. And it was all this men's mental health stuff coming through. I think men's mental health is going too far a little bit. Like, I'm all for it. But men have to be able to hassle each other for having meat pie nipples and hairy backs.
Men, that's how men show affection to each other, is a bit of gentle ribbing.
By gagging in your mouth every time you see Chris Key with his shirt off. That's how you show love.
And look, to answer their questions on all those texts, I've seen some of them.
Yeah.
There are different rules.
Yeah.
There are different rules for the way we talk about men. Like, I can say to you, "Shit, you're looking good today, mate. Should we go and bang in the toilets?"
Yeah.
I could never say that to a female colleague.
Well, if you're Chris Gayle, you could.
Yeah, you could actually. Chris Gayle says,
how many children have you got?
Would you like?
I'll give you 5.
So he said
I've got twins. Go with me, baby. I'll give you a triplet.
Another Kate was also talking to him. She said, "Oh, have you got any kids?" She goes, "You got 3 boys," and he goes, "Would you like a girl?"
He's got a free pass. Although he did get cancelled for a comment. Remember that?
Don't blush, baby.
Yeah, don't blush, baby.
And he was singing it on the all night when he was DJing. He goes, "Don't blush, baby. Don't blush, baby." Like, he was leaning into it. He doesn't care.
That was the weakest cancellation. They had no energy, that cancellation.
But it was at the height. Remember?
Yeah. Right. Yes.
Highlight for me, outside of everything, was I won back-to-back meat raffles.
Yeah, that was incredible.
I won a mass meat pack raffle at the Richmond
after winning. And that was a huge meat pack. It had pork.
It had chops. It had a bit of mince in there. There was some bit of sirloin, and there was sauce that came with it.
When you always win meat raffles at the most. I've run a few in my time, and they're always at a really awkward time before you're going out. And you're like, how am I going to carry around this much meat for a whole night?
I did gift it to someone. I was like,
I mean, Chris Gayle has no problem with it, but but me carrying around that much meat, difficult to deal with.
And it's so funny because the Richmond Club was rammed, and then there was a dining area and the meat pack raffle area, and I just walked straight in and bought 5 tickets. And went to the sports bar where everyone was, where the big show was. And then I thought, fuck, I better go check the meat raffle. And I just strolled back in, put my things out. And she goes, "Oh, you fucking won." And gave me the meat. And I could see the whole dining room meat pack raffle area, just give me daggers all the way back to this. Like, look at this piece of shit. Come with his comedy jacket and a stupid hat on. He's come and won the meat raffle and walked off with it. And then I proceeded to give it...
tourist.
Yeah, totally. Fucking tourist. All right, we'll take a quick break and we'll be back with a bit more actual sporting news. Righto, Matt Heath, you be following much of the NFL at the moment?
Yeah.
The playoffs, what's going on? I'm only interested when the Super Bowl comes, which is a few weeks away.
Well, my beloved Rams went down to the Eagles, which I thought was a little bit unfair because they played in Philadelphia in the snow. And so Rams have come from Los Angeles where...
Everything's on fire.
Well, their practice field burnt down. That was on fire. Right. So you're going from fire to snow. So they had to play their first playoff, the wild card in Arizona, because you couldn't even play in Los Angeles. They couldn't play it so far, and they heroically got through that and to play the Eagles. And it was a pretty good game, 28-22. But in the end, I mean, they're having to wear wetsuits under their clothes. I saw the rundown of what you have to wear because it is Arctic cold.
Wetsuits.
Yeah, they've got these special... like all over body wetsuits, but it was a NFL ref who has to ref these games, in the winter, and he was like, it's too cold, there's nothing you do, so he invented these wetsuits that they wear under their uniforms. Because
you spend a lot of time on the sideline not doing much, do you, in NFL?
Yeah, and even because it's short bursts, and then standing there, and so just so freaking cold. The ball's hard. Running the balls, apparently it's really hard to tackle because
everything hurts.
Everything hurts. And so it was 28-22. The Rams scored a fantastic touchdown, and Matthew Stafford was up to his no-look ways again. It was fantastic. But
it's Chiefs.
Chiefs. It would be definitely a situation. Bring them back to LA, and that would have been a different situation against the Eagles. But I love the Eagles. Everyone loves the Eagles because always sunny in Philadelphia and stuff.
Yeah.
The Bills beat the Ravens. That was a tight game.
Yeah.
So 27-25. And the Lions. This was gutting. Detroit Lions, and this is a problem for them because they're sort of been building up to this moment, and they needed to succeed in this, and they got punished by the embarrassing Commanders. The Washington Commanders.
Sounds like the Globetrotters opposition.
Yeah, well, they had to change their name from the Redskins.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
But they did. So now it's just all about someone's got to beat the fucking Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Chiefs beat the Texans. So it's unfortunately looking good for the Chiefs. So the best case scenario, I guess. So the NFL Conference Championship is Chiefs-Bills. So the Bills have to take down dirty Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
And that's on Monday. So
the Bills Mafia. It's always fun watching people just jump through.
I'd love the Bills to do it.
Okay. Well, I'm moving on to footy of another kind. The Chiefs. They're going to play at Bay Oval. So Tauranga hasn't had a Super Rugby game in fucking yonks because the Chiefs invariably play in Hamilton.
Yeah.
And so
how far away is the crowd?
I don't know. It's going to be miles away unless they
let them stand.
That would be great.
Yeah, standing room.
Old school, like just put a piece of tape up.
Everyone has to wear like a hat, like an old school, fedora. Yeah. And those shots you see in black and white where everyone's just smoking cigarettes in there. Everyone's gone to a fixture in a suit and tie with a hat.
3-piece.
And everyone's rammed right around the sidelines.
That's a good idea, maybe. And look, Chiefs are sponsored by Gallagher, who invented the electric fence. And maybe that can be an activation. It can just be that single strip of electric fence tape that all the dairy farmers use to move the cattle.
Yeah.
Just set that up around the outside and just put people behind it. One of the great Gallagher activations.
Otherwise, you're watching that game from a fuck of a long way back.
Yeah, and look, Super Rugby starts in 3 weeks.
Get out.
We don't have any cricket at home until March 16. It's January 21st. We don't have any cricket up till March, and then we got Super Rugby starting in 3 weeks.
Get out.
Just shorten Super Rugby. Make Super Rugby like...
This is the problem. It's God, every year it's starting with the problems with rugby union again, but let's do it. It's because of the amount of fixtures Sky needs.
Yeah.
But, just less. less is more when it comes to Super Rugby, and make the games frickin' count.
Yeah, I know. That's why
no one's ready to zone in.
We talked about the conferences, just having New Zealand conference, Aussie conference, and then the top 2 Aussie teams play the top
and
2
let
Kiwi
the
teams.
players have a bloody break.
Yeah, and make it shorter because fuck now we're gonna basically have the Warriors and Super Rugby all kicking off, and then 3 weeks later the Black Caps will be playing again at home against Pakistan. It's super weird. Anyway, before we get to a couple of yours pleases, as proud partners of Last Man Stands, if you're a cricketer, you definitely would have heard about Last Man Stands and all the cricket battlers across New Zealand. We want to provide you with the ultimate pre-game prize pack to teams around the country this cricket season. To register your Last Man Stands team, you get some refreshing beverages, some tasty Snackachangi chips, ACC merch from Export Ultra and Snackachangi. Basically, if you're in Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch, doesn't matter. Text LMS to 3236 to register your Last Man Stands team. We'll hook you up there. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back with a few yours pleases.
Yours please. Brought to you by Leader, home of the lasagna topper.
Right, you know the drill. You just press the drill. You know the drill. Press the iHeart button, the microphone button on your iHeart.
2, 1, 2, you know the
no,
drill.
you know what to do. Yours please.
Morning, blokes. I just want to discuss another ACC missed opportunity own goal. Since old Chris Gayle forgot his bat and had to borrow one, why don't you guys give him one of your BYC ACC punishers from Rebel Sports that you've been selling? Old mate Lou Vincent brought out his chody bloody mongoose comedy bat, so why don't you guys throw in yours? Missed opportunity. Well, I wouldn't expect any less. But yeah, love your work, guys. Love your work.
It would have made a good sound.
It's.
I mean, how does it go with a?
I was just getting it, but this one's the medium-sized punisher. This is the little punisher. I don't know how it goes with the hard ball.
Hey, there's some advice for junior cricket though. Get when they're first starting 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh yeah,
Get your kids on these.
Get on the plastic ones.
Yeah, don't get them on the wooden ones.
Nah, because it ricochets off the plastic.
Yeah,
way better than the wooden ones.
Yeah.
So especially they got the medium hard ball, eh?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, look.
What are they called? The Incredible.
Look. He's relaxed, Chris Gayle, but the one thing he knows is a commercial deal. So there's no way he was going to touch anyone else's merch whatsoever. I think they tried to get him in a Backbone T-shirt. He just went and just held it up like a towel.
Yeah.
I'm not getting in that.
Yeah. And it costs a lot of money for me to get into.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting that he picked Carl Mills's bat out of everyone's bat.
Yeah, that was...
Is that because it had no... Mind you, most of them don't have any sponsorship on their bat.
Nah. Did it have no sponsor
and ironically... Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember now, but I know it was Carl Mills's bat that he used. And then he ironically spooned it up to Carl Mills. And it was as if... I was thinking it was like a Harry Potter kind of wizard situation where the bat knew who its master was. And
came back to him.
In
a weird way.
And sent the ball over to him.
Okay, next one, yours, please.
So me and the boys sitting there watching the Black Clash, and we're wondering if the Ford logo on Team Cricket's ass is paid per square inch. And if so, should they have a Samasogi Takeaho in there to have the biggest per square inch area? Anyway, fuck South Canterbury.
See, that's an interesting idea, isn't it? Like, how far can the commercialism go?
Yeah.
Where they get into the selecting and they want people selected with bigger asses, so they get bigger. They get bigger inches bigger area on their sponsorship.
Well, you get Caleb Clark. That'd be like the size of a billboard.
Yeah. So Caleb Clark is getting paid more. If you get paid. You should actually. Yeah. So like a Ford should get like a Tamati Williams should get paid more for the sponsorship logo he wears on his shirt.
Correct.
Than Damien McKenzie.
Yeah, because it's more
surface inches. I mean, if you get a bigger billboard, you pay more for it.
That's right. Any digital ads, and the bigger the digital ad, whether it's a full website takeover or just a little tile.
Who's got the biggest ass in cricket?
Oh, Matt Henry is up there. In terms of, you're talking New Zealand players?
Yeah, it's a bubble butt though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a bubble butt. You got likes of Rakeem Cornwall.
Yeah.
160 kg West Indian player.
They should bloody get him over for the Black Clash.
Oh my God. Oh, fuck yeah.
How good would that
be? He would go down a treat, actually.
Yeah.
Not quite as well known. I don't think he'll get bums on seats, but
no.
From a visual perspective.
Well, he'd get one bum on 2 seats on the flight over.
Yeah, that's true, actually. But quite cost, wouldn't be very cost-effective getting him here. Okay, last yours, please. Yes, yours, please.
G'day, fellas. Yeah, missed ya. Missed talking back to myself in traffic. Talking about the handbrake, had a mate come do some gardening in the room, and then got a call about half an hour later, and his car was through the neighbour's fence. Trying to figure out how it happened. He reckoned he got broken into, but car was all locked up, windows all fine, ignition fine. He just jumped out, walked off without the handbrake, and rolled away. Crack it. Yeah, love yous, fuck yous.
Oh, nice. We were talking last week about the no handbrake incident, and there was a guy. You remember that guy who tried to get Sam Costas's autograph, and he jumped out of his car and left the handbrake off, and it drifted off. Mania told a story about him in England when they were baked, and it happened. But we're talking about it's a lost art because everyone drives automatics now.
Yeah.
So no one knows. It's very rare now. Because I remember when I was a kid, Mum used to go to the supermarket and they'd go, "Don't touch the handbrake."
Yeah.
You remember that? Don't touch the handbrake.
I know. And I'd always have my hand on the handbrake.
Yeah, and
my
you'd like
sisters
click it.
would have like me and my 3 sisters in the car, and I'd have it, and I'd click it, and they'd go, "Go!"
It's like one of the things. I mean, look, they all smoked in the car. They did everything else.
There was no
don't-
seatbelts.
No seatbelts. Don't touch the fucking handbrake in case we roll into another car.
Yeah. I hate my son. I love him, but I also hate him because I'm teaching him to drive at the moment.
Oh, my God.
It's so easy. Driving is so easy now.
On automatics.
Yeah, and with automatic handbrakes.
And sat-nav.
Yeah, and also like a hill start isn't a thing. Like the hill start is no different from starting any other way. But when I was learning to drive, it was like,
Oh, my God. Riding the
like,
clutch.
You're riding the clutch. Don't ride the clutch. It's like I got to ride the
You can
clutch.
smell the clutch.
You go, just waiting for the light to change.
Yeah, the most dangerous.
It's so fucking easy. It's like a go-kart.
Yeah.
My son said to me, "This is easy." Like he was worried about learning to drive, and then he goes, "This is so much easier than your average video game."
That's because they all play like Formula One. They've got pedals.
Yeah, yeah.
They go ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
They have to actually change gears.
Yeah,
And this one, they're like,
yeah. And
Right,
then,
it's a
and in
go-kart.
Grand Theft Auto, they're like having to hit pedestrians.
yeah, and get out and punch people in the head.
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff.
actually Grand Theft Auto is sort of designed and rigged so you do hit pedestrians, so it's harder to turn corners. So it's actually much easier to drive.
And
So
Grand
kids
Theft-
are going, "This is freaking easy."
Yeah, I know. It's taken all the danger out of it. The handbrake was the most dangerous thing in a car
Yeah.
back in the day.
I remember when I was learning to drive, I was coming up to an intersection. You had to come up to an intersection. The first time I'd been out in the car learning to drive, my dad was in the passenger seat, and coming up to an intersection, he had to put the clutch in, change gears down, indicate, and turn. There was a lot to do.
yeah.
And then I missed some of it. I didn't
2 out of
brake.
3?
I didn't
right.
brake.
Oh, okay. It's
And I was we're hitting the corner at pace. My dad's yelling. And
You're indicating, though.
I was indicating. I got that bit right.
Yeah.
Going far too fast, trying to slow things down with the gears, but then just leaving the clutch in, and so just careering towards the intersection. My dad pulled the handbrake on, and we just went into this massive handbrake turn. And he was just, when we stopped, and we were, if there'd been a car on the other side of the road, it would have been a fucking disaster. And he was just like,
I saved you. I saved you.
he just couldn't even, there was no words for how shit it was.
The handbrake, it's like the nuclear reactor shutdown for
Yeah.
parents. Just
Yeah, but it's also anarchy if you're already going around the corner.
Totally. Okay, well, let's knock this one on the head. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode of The Agenda.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda podcast, brought to you by Export Ultra. For more episodes, like and follow on iHeartradio or wherever you get your podcasts.